You are now tuned in to the #1 nursing podcast in the world, the Scrub Me In podcast by Nurse Junior and Anthony.
You are now tuned in to the #1 nursing podcast in the world, the Scrub Me In nursing podcast by Nurse Junior
and Nurse Anthony.
Yes, sir. Episode 12.
Let's go.
Season 2. Welcome. We got a special guest. How about you introduce yourself to the scrubbers out there?
My name's Jamie Peloquin. I'm an RN. I'm working in British Columbia in ICU in Kamloops.
Okay. How long have you been a nurse for, Jamie?
Been a nurse. I graduated with you. I think I was 6 months behind. I had a broken my arm at the time, so going on.
Wait.
Hold on. Slow the what?
Off the rip.
Well,
Hold
well,
on.
I had a broken arm like when we graduated nursing school, so that was pretty bad. So it took me 6 months to get healed.
After we graduated, or
like right. I was just before we graduated. I broke my arm, so I think I had clinicals delayed, so I wasn't able to do clinicals.
yeah, you weren't able to give meds and shit, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't do all patient care and all that, so I couldn't do. I couldn't start working. Like I had to get my last clinical delayed until the summer, and then I graduated slightly late, and then I started working in February instead of.
So hold on,
June.
how'd you break your arm?
Oh, I just tripped and fell, man. I was walking down the stairs.
Dog, you broke your arm?
Yeah.
Oh my. Fall risk.
Get him a wristband.
Yeah,
ladies and
well-
gentlemen.
Well, actually, and then since then, I've been, like I said, moved to BC, so I've been doing all kinds of like rock climbing and backcountry skiing and mountain biking. And that's still the worst thing.
Yeah,
to
you're
do.
very
And you didn't break your arm doing that.
I did once, but not as bad.
That's funny, man. But how was that experience having to wait to go back to clinical in the 4th year and seeing all your peers graduate? And
Yeah.
It was kind of awful. It was kind of depressing having the broken arm, especially sitting at home, just not being able to do anything. I had to work at a call center. I ended up taking a job at a call center temporarily.
Sutherland?
That's all I could. Yeah.
Shout out Sutherland, baby. Employing all of Windsor. Let's go.
Let's go.
Are they still around?
Yeah, they're still around.
the go-to,
I heard recently, this is super random, but I heard they have like a contract with ESPN. And
Oh,
they
really?
do like a lot of, like when you have issues with your Disney Plus,
Yeah.
when you call in, you're actually calling Sutherland.
Yeah. Because I worked. I'm not allowed to say too much, but yeah, I worked for like an American company, but I don't think they wanted people to know it was an American company. I signed like a non-disclosure and all that I wasn't allowed to.
Damn.
Okay. Wow. So you broke it. I didn't even know about that. And honestly, graduation day, it was such a blur to me. I was just.
Well, I don't think I went to graduation.
Yeah, that's what I'm
day or
saying.
anything.
Really? You
I
couldn't
don't-
even go to your
I
graduation?
think I could have, but I don't think I bothered.
No. I didn't go to
Yeah.
mine either.
Yeah.
I went to mine, but I was dozing off. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
I was over it by then. I just wanted to.
I know a
To be
lot of
done
people.
and working.
I know a lot of people that didn't go to the graduation.
Yeah, I didn't go to mine.
Yeah, it wasn't like high school, right?
Yeah.
So they mailed your degree then to you.
I think so. Yeah, they mailed it, but I was still in Windsor till February, and then that's when I got a job in BC.
Okay.
So are you from Windsor? Or
Yeah,
you from BC?
I grew up in Windsor. I grew up in Windsor. Went to nursing school in Windsor, and then I was like a big skier. My dad always took me skiing growing up, so I kind of like got it in my head that I wanted to live in BC.
Okay.
And then I started applying. I ended up getting a job in Detroit. They hired me, but I didn't even go through with the visa process or anything.
Well, because that is a stressful process. Takes a couple months, maybe even a year.
The visa process?
Yeah.
I started it, but I was like, I knew I didn't want to, and I was like, my mom was kind of telling me to like get on that, but I was like, no, I want to be in the mountains. I don't want to be in I don't want to be in
Yeah, go
Detroit,
where your heart tells you to go.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I've been out there ever since. Yeah.
So my next question is, why nursing? Because we're all males here, and we always ask this to all our ask every male.
Well, basically in high school, it came down like, in high school, you kind of get told you should go to university, right? So it really kind of came down to engineering and nursing. Honestly, they were safe bets, and that was a big part of it as well. Like you're gonna get a job, you're gonna make okay money.
Right.
I think my dad kind of talked me out of engineering.
Why? Do you know? Do you remember?
He said he didn't think I'd be able to get a job as easily, which I think obviously I would have. Engineering is a pretty
I think
solid
things
job.
have changed, though. I feel like when we were going into university, I mean, not that engineering you would struggle to get a job, but it just wasn't as guaranteed as nursing.
Nursing's pretty guaranteed.
Yeah,
and then,
that's right.
Obviously, it does feel good to make a difference. Like you can, like when you go to work, you can make these people's who's going through these horrible things try and add that human touch. And,
Absolutely,
which I do enjoy that part, but
Sure.
at the same time, that part is also can be stressful and there can be frustrating parts. So
Especially in the ICU where everybody's just acutely very ill.
Yeah. And it's hard watching you see the same people with self-destructive behaviors.
Of course.
It's just hard to watch them and try to help them, but it's hard sometimes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so your dad kind of pushed you into nursing as opposed to engineering.
A little bit,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously also my decision.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you did your research into nursing.
Yeah.
Were there any things that you thought of like, okay, nursing? This is, prior to doing your research on nursing, I know for me, I always thought nursing was a female-driven profession.
Yeah, of course.
Not a lot of males. So that when you did the research on the profession, was there anything that shocked you or surprised you?
Not really when I did the research. Since I'm becoming a nurse, I knew like the emotional side, like watching people, like being in the ICU, watching people die, watching people go through these horrible times. I knew that would be hard, but I don't think I think that affects me more than I thought it would. That part's a little harder than I thought it would be. Yeah.
Any type of specific ICU, or is it like a general ICU?
General ICU. Kamloops is a small town, only 100,000 people, so you don't have a huge. It's still got like a big enough ICU. I think it was 17 beds. So, and we're usually maybe 10 of those are ICU beds, and then a few step down beds and all that. So,
is there anything about nursing that you were like pleasantly surprised by? Like you were like, oh, this is all right.
I really like the schedule. That part's like amazing. Especially like I said, I live in Kamloops, so I can drive 4 hours and get to Whistler. I can drive 5 hours and get to Banff. I can drive 3 hours and get to Vancouver. 6 hours to Vancouver Island. So It's nice that I get 4 or 5 days off in a row where I can trade shifts around and get up to a couple weeks off pretty easily without really having to even take vacation.
Right.
That part's pretty amazing, especially, like I said, I can drive 4 hours and get to these amazing places living where I am. So I can, and I have like a whole camper set up in the back of my truck. So I just pack up all my skis and my mountain bike and my rock climbing gear and drive somewhere for a week and
Very adventurous.
Yeah.
So specialty. So from when you graduated and started working, what were the specialties that you got into, or did you stay in the same one?
I was med surg, so I didn't really specialize for about 5 years. I did a little bit of travel nursing in Victoria, but I mostly just did med surg and then specialized at about 5 years in. I started doing my ICU training.
What did you think about Victoria? Super random.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah.
What did you like about Victoria?
The food was really good.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, like I'm into like the mountains basically. So like skiing and mountain biking and all that. And compared to the rest of BC, it's not really as good. It's really quite separated. Like the female to male ratio. There's a lot of girls there compared to guys in Victoria.
Yeah, we might have to go to Victoria. We might have to pick up some contracts in Victoria. I'm just
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I got a girl. And
got-
if you're watching, I'm playing.
I'm single.
It's kind of got that vibe for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my next question was going back to nursing school. How were your clinical experiences from like first year, second year, third year, fourth year nursing school?
Well, it was good. So first year, I was at the hospital for most of them. I did one at the mushroom farm. I don't know if you heard about that. Do you remember that? The Highline
Mushroom
mushrooms.
farm?
What the hell? Is
Well, it
this is
was
in
like-
first year of nursing school?
No, it was like third or fourth.
Was this community nursing?
Yeah, community nursing. I
Okay,
think it was kind of like it was out in Highline Mushrooms. It was like occupational health. To be honest, like I don't want to start too much shade on the nursing program, but it was. I feel like they didn't have enough placements for everybody, and they kind of just like they kind of just like they said like occupational nursing. They didn't even have a nurse there. My preceptor was like some safety inspector.
It was a farmer. Yeah, you know, I'll be picking some mushrooms while you're here, buddy. All right, with that one arm, you got one good arm. I need you to pick these mushrooms. All right.
I had a good arm at that time.
Do it ergonomically sound
Yeah,
too.
it was me and Andrew. I don't know if you remember Andrew.
Yo, shout out to Andrea Wong. Yo, that was Angela's roommate in first year.
No, not one. Andrew Z.
Oh, Andrew, scratch that. Shout out to Andrew Z. He watches too.
Does he?
He does. He's actually in Detroit. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. He works in Michigan.
Yeah, he was a.
Yo, come here and tell us about the mushroom farm, G.
I'm gonna connect you with him. I'm gonna give you his number.
Okay, yeah.
That's
That'd
crazy.
be cool to talk to him again. So,
Oh wow.
so yeah, that to be honest, it was a waste of time. We.
Fair.
I learned a lot here. Fun fact: mushrooms grow at 4% an hour.
Damn. That's a lot bigger than I expected.
Yeah,
They
that's
gotta
quick.
harvest, they gotta harvest like twice a day or something like that.
That's
Damn,
quick.
I didn't learn
crazy.
anything about nursing, but
Damn.
yeah. So we basically for that it was like occupational health. To be honest, I think Highline Mushrooms got like some kind of like incentive or something, like financial incentive to be like, oh, we have nursing students here. We're like doing health stuff for our employees. So we did like a little presentation on. I think we did it on like stretching or something with mental. I think we did mental health. I think before that, the year before us did stretching, and then all the easy topics were taken. And
Like
we did,
hand washing.
we did like mental health, and then we did like their blood pressures on their breaks, and that's pretty much all.
Like you took the staff's blood pressure?
Yeah. That's it was kind of.
Yeah, I wish I got that job or that placement.
This
Honestly,
guy.
It was a waste of time.
but it was smooth though.
Yeah, it was
because we had to do a paper at the end of like.
Did you have to do journals?
Oh
Yeah,
You had to do journals.
we did. We had to do all that nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you do a journal at a mushroom farm?
I don't know, man.
Because you don't have any. I mean, I don't know. I never had a community placement, so I don't know what journals would look like for community.
So for me, I was at a diabetes wellness clinic
Okay.
in Windsor in the East Side, and I had like a nurse who was my preceptor, but then you also have someone who's above you, like a clinical coordinator, I guess.
Yeah.
But my preceptor, she didn't necessarily look at my journals. I guess it was the clinical coordinator, but yeah, for his situation, if he didn't have a preceptor nurse, I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, she was like I don't know. It wasn't impressive. I was a little bit upset about the amount of money I was paying to be a nurse.
You know what,
school,
though?
Right?
At least you know how fast mushrooms grow. That's a positive.
Yeah. I'm sure you're getting discounts too on the mushrooms.
Yeah, I got eat a lot of mushrooms that semester.
Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, you're
Why does Jamie always have mushrooms in his food?
oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, they said we couldn't get out of it, and then like there was supposed to be like 2 mushroom farms, and there's supposed to be another 2 students at it. Somehow the other 2 students got out of it. They were like they were allergic to mushrooms or something. One of them said they didn't have a car, and somebody said they were allergic to mushrooms, so they got out of the mushroom placements. And then me and Andrew were just stuck there. I think they can't. I think the preceptor. I think she ended up. Word on the grapevine. I think she ended up getting fired the next semester, for some unrelated reasons. But yeah, it was a mess.
Probably stealing mushrooms.
Mushrooms, bro. It'll get you.
There's so much you can cook with mushrooms.
I know.
Man. All right, so out in BC, right? How would you compare BC nursing to nursing anywhere else, specifically like let's say Windsor? I know you've never worked in Windsor as a nurse.
Yeah, well, I went to nursing school, so I kind of got the vibe. People, maybe it's just because I was a nurse and people respected me more, but people just seem so much chiller out there. Like,
are we talking staff or just like
staff? Not the patients a little bit too, but there's definitely a different kind of people in BC. You get like the more like the people that grew up in BC, you kind of get everybody, but it's like everybody from like Ontario that's into this, like the mountains and all that, they kind of flock to BC. So you kind of get like a certain type of people for sure. Like it's a chiller vibe, like more of the mountain vibe.
Okay. On top of that, so you said it's a chiller vibe. So you know how in nursing, females, some males too, the gossiping, the politics, it's still there.
It's still there.
It ain't changed, huh?
Still there.
Yeah. That's universal.
Especially if you go to like the ER and all that, like that, like whole like
very cliquey.
That whole like all mean girls go to nursing school. Like it can be a little bit true sometimes.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a story actually I wanted to share with y'all. Let me find it. Or actually, let me ask you this, Jamie. What is probably the toughest nursing shift you've ever had? We all have many. I've shared a few on the podcast. Yeah. Anthony shared a few.
I don't want to just...
Because every nurse has that moment where, maybe I need to get the hell out of this profession.
Or it's like, man, this is real. Like, this is people's lives.
Well, like the toughest is like admitting a young kid in a car accident. That's like the hardest.
Oh, you guys get like pediatric.
Well, no, not young kids, but he was like in his 20s, right?
Okay,
so it was like young to me, right? But like mental, like that was one of like emotionally, and like that was the toughest shift. But then like you get the other kind of tough, like the alcohol withdrawal and the drug withdrawals, where they can be so, like I don't want to like they can just be so difficult. They can be such conflicting personalities, and so like such a high workload, and so you go home and they'll like swear at you and be aggressive and fight with you and all that, and those can be like, that's a hard day, right? Not necessarily like the car accident victim, not like emotionally hard, but like just that kind of stuff. When you're working so hard and people are so like they don't they're just can be unappreciated.
Oh, I get it, because there's times like, and this is what I say to especially patients that like are rude or just aren't friendly. Like, bro, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
And now I know with alcohol and drug withdrawals, it's totally different, because a lot of these people are totally out of their mind. Like, this is not them.
It's a disease. They didn't know, but it's hard to remember that in a moment when you're getting so frustrated. You know, you extubate them, you take them off the ventilator, take them off life support. You know, you're like, okay, like you're alive, but we still have all these other steps. We still have so much help we need to get you. We need to monitor you in the hospital to make sure you're doing okay, right? We don't have any other hidden problems or anything, and get you stronger, and try to set you up with community supports and all that stuff, so we can live a happy life. And then they're like, all they want to do is leave the hospital and
get the next one, man.
Yeah, which it's not that it is their fault, that it isn't their fault, but it's hard to remember that in the moment. Sometimes you do get frustrated, and you're like,
of course.
Yeah, that part's definitely hard too.
So being out in BC outside of nursing, I know you've already mentioned like rock climbing and all this stuff, but do you just primarily go to outdoors to unplug from everything? Yeah.
I mean, I'll play some video games and stuff like that too, just that kind of general stuff. But most of my time I'm spending like pretty much all winter I'm spending skiing. I do backcountry skiing, so you hike up the mountain. You got like special skis that are like they're kind of like cross country skis, but they're downhill. They're like made for downhill, but they work the same as cross country skis, where the heel can unlock and the toe pivots, and you can put a special skin on so you can hike up the mountain. So I do a lot of that, like 50% that, 50% like resort riding. In the winter, and then in the summer I'll do like I said, rock climbing, mountain biking. I started downhill longboarding.
Yo, that's what it's called. Yo, I was telling him that I creeped your Facebook, and I was like, yo, he's doing some sort of fast skateboarding.
Yeah, so I skateboarded when I was back in Windsor. I wasn't planning on doing that. And then there was like a big shout out to the Kamloops Longboard Club. I met them out when I when I moved out to BC, I met them, and they're like, "Yo, come ride these skateboards down these hills with us." And I was like,
how fast are you going when you're going down these roads?
I only go like 70 kilometers an hour. So
Only
like,
70 kilometers an hour.
Like my friends have gone like 110, 100
insane,
kilometers
bro.
an hour. Yeah. Well, you like it's obviously quite like a special skateboard. Like,
of course,
the skateboards are like between $700 and $1,000, sometimes more.
Yeah. You
they
making
got,
money, so
they got like, well, it's not like a regular skate. The trucks are where it's like the metal pieces that hold the wheels on. That's like where yeah, I kind of just met the longboard club, and I got into that. It's a really small community, so you end up hanging out with like these like world class skateboarders. Like a lot of my friends go to the world championships and stuff for it, and like they're like some of the best in the world. It's a pretty small community overall, so it's like when you get into it, everybody's stoked to have you there, and like you get to meet all these like professional. Well, I think they still have to have another job. I don't think there's a lot of money in downhill longboarding, but
yet,
right. So you get to meet all these sick people out there and get to do all these cool things.
And was ICU your first choice? Like when you went out there and started working, did you immediately go into ICU?
No. I worked in med surg for about 5-6 years. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it took me a while to get out. I kind of knew I wanted to, but I was kind of, to be honest, I was slacking. I was having too much fun with life and not getting on the education thing as quick as I should have. But I eventually got on it, and I'm considering. I can't do the night shift. I can't do night shift forever.
Oh, so you're night shift now.
No, it's 50-50 for us. It's like 2 days, 2 nights. I'm part-time. So that's full-time is like 2 days, 2 nights for the most part. Sometimes like only 3 shifts. Sometimes 3 days, whatever. But I'm part-time, but for full-time, it's 2 days, 2 nights.
Like day, night, back to back.
Yeah,
I love that shit, bro.
Really?
It's hard.
I would take that schedule. And then it's 5 days off, right?
Yeah, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. That's for full time. I'm like 0.8 right now, so I'm a little bit less. I only usually do 3 shifts in a row, so like 2 days and 1 night, or 1 day and 2 nights, or something like that. Sometimes only 2, sometimes 4. It's a little bit all over the place, but it's hard. Coming off the night shows, 2 night shifts. It takes me like days before I'm feeling
to convert back
before
into
I'm feeling
days.
good. Yeah.
Well, so what's the most shifts you've worked in a row? I'm out of
6. I think after
6 is like the overarching like
6 is
number.
well, I'm pretty sure there was like a fatigue rule where like you're not covered with insurance or something after 6. I don't know too much about
You've
it.
never worked at Windsor Regional, my friend.
How
Ain't
many
no
shifts
rule.
have you worked?
I think the most is 7, but
I would
by
look-
the end of 7, bro, I was delirious.
I would look into that. There might be like a fatigue rule with your insurance where it's
I
like
don't give a fuck.
if something happens and lawyers get involved, you could be screwed.
I think
after
it's
6.
8. I actually think it's 8.
Okay, it might be a little different here, but I know that
But yo,
that's something to look
7, and
into.
I'm like, what's
Yeah.
my name?
Y'all need
Who
to ask,
am I?
Yeah, that's what same
Like-
with the 6, especially on night shift. When I'm on the
Bro.
4th night shift, I'm like, there's a good thing. There's a reason there's a fatigue rule for sure.
Ask me
yeah.
how many I've worked in a row.
How many?
24.
Get the
24 in a row.
24 shifts.
get the
Oh my
No,
god.
and guess where it was at?
Is that
Alaska.
I could see
We had an episode where we talked about Alaska.
I could see I guess out there there's
What else are you
different
gonna
rules.
do, bro?
They were well. It's obviously in the States, but they were super short staffed.
There's
what
different
else are you gonna
rules.
do?
There's different rules when it's like that. When it's like that rule, it's like they don't have anybody else, right? They gotta
had
do
no
what they gotta
choice.
do. Yeah.
A
What
lot
else are
of
you
us
gonna
were
do
work-
out there?
Is that there was nothing else we could really do? I mean, it was either
Yeah.
sleep or
Oh,
work.
you could go probably.
Yeah,
go
you would
skiing.
enjoy Alaska.
You
It
go
would be
Actually,
ski.
fun, yeah.
you would enjoy Alaska.
She don't ski.
I
I can
don't
tell you that right now.
I had to be evading polar bears and Arctic foxes
Did you
and
see?
shit
Did
like
you
that.
see polar bears?
Seen both of those.
Did you
polar
really?
bears? Yeah, from a distance though.
Oh, that's polar bears.
From my window.
Polar bears are scary. They're like one of the only animals that hunts humans, like in the world.
Oh yeah, there was an
They're
incident where
scary.
there was a kid that got killed by a polar bear. A polar
Yeah.
bear. So they have the polar bear police out there in Alaska. If y'all don't know, yeah.
Bro.
Unfortunately, in this part of Alaska, I guess they weren't doing their job very well on that day. But a polar bear came into the town and attacked the young boy, and he died.
I believe
man,
it.
That's terrifying.
Because they'll like, they'll hunt people for like miles. Like if you're
Oh.
within like a mile of a polar bear, it'll smell you.
They can
and
smell your
hunt
ass.
you down. Like they're
And they and if it's snowing hard and there's a lot, they can camouflage very well.
There's something else. Yeah, I see a lot of black bears in the wild.
Oh wow!
Like hiking and biking and stuff. Like it becomes like a second nature. You see them all the time out there, and
they never played around with you.
No, one time the closest I was downhill mountain biking, and there was a mom and cubs in the trail, and my friend stopped in front of me. He's like, "Yo, hold up! There's a mom and a cub up in front of us," and so we kind of just stopped and made some noise, and it scares away. But that was one of my first experiences with bears, and that was a little scary. Yeah. But now you see them, and you're like, "Oh, cool, a bear." It's like seeing a deer. Like it's like
no, it's like seeing a bear.
The black bears are fine. The deer, the grizzlies. I haven't seen any grizzlies in the wild, but those are scary.
Have you ever seen the movie The Revenant?
Yeah, but that's a grizzly. That's a grizzly. The grizzlies are dead.
Grizzly bear, polar bear, black bear, they're all the same to me.
Mama bear, gummy bear, it all the goddamn same,
bro. Lakers and 6, right? It don't matter. Facts. Yo, when we lived in Australia one time, we saw a snake on the beach, and someone was like, "Oh, that's just a whatever snake," and I was like, "How do you know that?" They're like, "Well, I don't actually know." I was like, "Yo, I'm out. Yeah. That's a poisonous snake. That's all that matters."
You just get used to seeing them. We got rattlesnakes out there, and you see a lot of. I've only seen like 3 or 4 rattlesnakes since moving.
Yeah, see the only
just 3 or 4, eh?
Yeah, that's a lot of the places we go rock climbing have them. So
yeah,
it's always in the back of the mind when you reach it into the rock. You like, I really hope there's not.
The only rattlesnake that I've seen is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Shout out
to the yeah, shout out to the stunner. But nah, I ain't messing with no rattlesnakes like that. No.
I'm
No.
telling you right now.
Yeah, you just get used to it.
Yo.
They're just as afraid.
I almost was gonna be like, "Yo, I'm gonna come out to Kamloops. We gonna do some downhill skateboarding." I'm just like, I'm not going anywhere near Kamloops, bro.
The rattlesnakes are safer than the downhill skateboarding.
Dog, that's insane.
It's wild. It's wild.
He said it's like seeing a deer. No, it's like seeing a bear.
We see a lot of deer. You don't see as many in Windsor, but I see a lot of deer. But yeah, the black bears, it just becomes another part of life. You see them. Yeah, they don't hurt you. They don't want to hurt you. Especially the ones in the city. They're used to seeing people, right? So they kind of like they leave you alone. They won't hurt you. They don't.
Do you ever see any like animal attacks on the ICU out there?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any animal attacks.
Right?
I see a lot of mountain bike victims, but crashes and ski crashes.
Yeah. So that's something I was thinking about. So you said, what did you call the skateboarding that you do again?
Downhill longboarding.
Downhill longboarding.
Well, it's longboarding, but the board's technically shorter than a skateboard when you get into like the higher end. But
my question is, if there was ever an accident with that is like a hospitable accident, yeah, because you're going so fast.
Yeah, you don't. Well, it's a smaller sport, but I've never had a patient from downhill longboarding, but there's only like 6 of us in town that even like do it. Whereas like Kamloops is one of the bigger mountain biking areas in Canada. Like it's like Kamloops and like Whistler. It's 2 of the biggest.
I could see that.
So you get a lot of that. You get a lot of a lot of mountain bike crashes. A lot more motorized, like ATVs and dirt bikes and that. You get a lot. I'm sure you get that here too.
For sure.
And then you get the ski accidents and the snowmobile accidents and like occasional like avalanche victims and stuff like that. But
avalanche victims.
Like, people that were playing in the mountains and.
So you saying people were just playing up in the mountains?
Well,
just
like not like any specific case. Just every a couple times a year you'll hear about like an avalanche victim or like something like that, and it's usually like anoxic injuries, injuries like that. But occasionally it'll be like they break bones and stuff on their way down, so trauma victims as well.
Any frostbite situations?
Not really. I haven't had to deal with that because usually it's like you're only gonna see an avalanche if you're putting yourself in that situation. It's like backcountry snowmobilers. Snowmobilers are really bad for avalanches, and then a bit of backcountry skiers. But the snowmobiler, it's about where you go. When you don't get into that stuff without taking like an avalanche course and knowing. So I always have like a probe, shovel, and beacon. So like the beacon is when somebody gets stuck, it's like a electronic radar thing, so it'll kind of tell you about where they are, and then you take out the probe, which is just a big long stick that you poke around for them, and then you got to dig them out. I've never had to do anything like that, and most people getting involved in that like haven't had to do something like that, but everybody is trained how to do something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let me think. Next question is the pandemic. So tell me about your experience in the beginning of the pandemic. What were you doing around that time?
Yeah, so Kamloops, BC in general, I don't think got hit too hard. Kamloops didn't get hit too hard. So I was working in Kamloops for the beginning part of it. And to be honest, I missed out on that, like the travel nursing. I wish I would have. That was when I wish I would have got my visa to Detroit. Because when it started, I was like, I should get my visa and go work in the States. I'm hearing about these ridiculous contracts. But I was like, it's only going to be 2 weeks. It's not worth it.
We talked about that on one episode.
I can remember having a conversation with a guy right before. And I was like, this thing will pass over. No big deal.
I was like, I should go get on these $100, $200 contracts now or whatever, go to the States. But I was like, by the time my visa gets here, it'll be over.
Gone.
Like, I'm not going to do it.
2 weeks turned into 2 years.
Yeah, and then I kept so I regret not taking advantage of those like high.
That's when you should have listened to your mom.
That's how I still regret that.
So they didn't have any high rates going on during.
No,
the
we
pandemic
did lock down like everybody else, and the rates got bad. But I don't think we weren't one of the hot spots. Like I know in Ontario, like the gyms and stuff were closed for like 6 months and stuff.
Yeah.
Like our gyms were only closed for a month. Like it wasn't like it was out here. Okay. Yeah, we were still going to like.
So during that time,
yeah.
Were you still allowed to do all the activities you want to do, or was stuff locked down?
I think they closed the provincial parks like for like a month or something, but they got over that pretty quick. And they're like, yeah, you guys can like, especially like the backcountry stuff. I think the bigger issue was like people messing themselves up and using up hospital. They were worried about people ending up in the hospital.
Yeah,
right. We didn't lock down as hard. I think I was working on the COVID floor when I went to Victoria, so it was around COVID. But again, it never really got too bad. We were all scared that it was going to get too bad, just like everyone else was,
course.
Right? We were all worried, but yeah, we were never really. We had our waves for sure. Like we definitely saw some COVID, but it wasn't one of the hot spots for BC.
So is that when you started travel nursing during the pandemic?
Yeah. Well, I only did like one travel contract in Victoria. Yeah.
How was that experience for you? Or
it was good. It didn't pay well. Like even now the travel, you can still get some pretty sweet travel nursing contracts, right? But not in BC. I think it's only 60 an hour, 55 an hour for travel nursing. So it's like not even more than the staff nurse get paid. I think they kind of rely on like beautiful British Columbia. Like it's more like people travel nurse there to be in the mountains and
for the views.
Yeah, to be in a beautiful area rather than to make money. If you want to make money, you got to go to Saskatchewan or New Brunswick.
Alberta,
somewhere north. Right?
I know a lot of people that are doing travel nursing out there.
Yeah,
they're making
always,
killing.
bro.
BC, it's everybody just wants to be in somewhere beautiful, right? So yeah, there's not the lucrative contracts like there is out here. It's about about where you're living. So
okay. What else? Pet peeves. Tell me about some pet peeves that you have when it comes to nursing with staff
or facility.
Like kind of when they can like let their ego get in the way, or like when you're giving somebody a report and they're nitpicking and they're like you say something that maybe, or you're like, I don't know something, like, oh, okay, and like roll their eyes and like make you feel dumb or something. And I'm like man, like we should all be working on the same team here, we shouldn't be making each other feel bad. We shouldn't be like, when you say something dumb, because I know I've said dumb stuff, and I know
we all do.
Yeah.
I know smart nurses who say dumb things, right? And you're like,
it is what it is.
We don't all, and then you should feel comfortable saying stupid things, because then that's how you learn, right? If you're scared to say something, then you're not going to be able to learn, right? And you might just go around thinking the wrong thing. Right?
I agree, bro. And I feel like that brings on a horrible culture on units. So when you hear people talk about like nursing, like there's mean girls and these cliques, and it all comes from that culture.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's that. I think you get that in any career though. Where it's but yeah, nursing you work, and it's like you have the patients, which should be what it's about, right? Like
I agree.
That's especially in the ICU, the patient doesn't get a say for themselves.
That's
right?
exactly
so
right.
It's like let's all work together to be. But yeah, some people can be. I don't even know if they're intentionally being like that, but like some people can be judgmental. Maybe is a word. They can make you feel bad about it.
I remember when I was doing travel nursing, there was one, I'm not going to say what state it was in, but this one nurse, she was up for admission. And she offered another nurse money to take her admission. This is during the pandemic or the bandemic. So
everybody was making money.
She just wanted a chill night. Like in her defense, with that contract, we were working 6 days in a row, one off, then 6 on again.
Well, maybe she's having a bad day and like
possibly.
Just really
but
doesn't.
I thought that was crazy. You were willing to pay her. I think she's offered like $500.
Oh my god, that's more than I make in a shift. Like,
Send it. Send the patient over,
bro. I wish she asked me. I would have took that.
Send it.
But during the pandemic, nurses were making about like 10 bands a week.
10,500. Yeah, 10,500. Send the patient over, baby.
Yeah, no, I would. I would.
I even have a homegirl out in Florida. I'm not gonna say her name, but she was telling me she was making like 15,000, 16,000. And the most they were doing were like swabbing noses and just sending the specimens off. And
that might be my biggest regret in life. Is missing out on that.
I'm telling you. So I'm gonna give you a little short synopsis on it. With travel nursing, when I did it, I first went to Dallas, Texas, and they just had me in a hotel. Like they just had me on a wait list. We'll call you. We'll let you know when it's time for you to get sent out to a hospital. I was staged or on the wait list for about 6 weeks.
Still getting paid.
And you're still getting paid the $10,000. Yeah.
Oh, what was I was doing?
Think about how much mountain biking you could have done then.
Oh, no.
But the crazy, like I was telling a lot of people about it, but they just didn't believe me. Kind of similar with what you guys
it's
said.
not that we did, but like I was like, it's going to be over next week kind of thing.
That's what
right?
it is. The job security. I don't want to I don't want to lose out on my full-time job that I have.
It takes like what, 6 months to get a visa too.
Well, I'm American, so I already had it.
Yeah, so.
But for the Canadian, Canadians, it takes a while.
We had some good contracts here, but not that good. Right?
Yeah,
like you can make 150 here an hour or something like that, which works out to even $5,000 a week would be amazing.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah, those are some pet peeves. I don't even remember a nurse challenging another nurse, rock paper scissors for this next admission. I don't want it. I'm like, what?
Yo, honestly, patients are being passed around for $500. I'll take everyone.
I'm telling
I'll
you.
take the whole unit. I'm telling you. Give me. Y'all can sit. All right. Don't touch a thing.
I could see doing rock paper with some of like some of your homie nurses. Like,
sure.
I could see doing like a rock paper, just kind of jokingly. But
yeah, they were friends. They were friends.
Yeah,
I just found it funny.
So real quick, if you didn't get into nursing, I know you had touched on engineering. Knowing what you know now, what would you get into, you think?
Well, like I was saying, like I kind of had it in my head that I had to go to university. That's kind of what you get told, right? So
absolutely.
Engineering would definitely be a thought, but something with computers, especially back when we were in school, like it's definitely getting more competitive. But computers would have been a good way to go. And then the trades would be.
I feel like the trades is something that was not talked about enough.
No, they kind of did, but like I look at my friends now and I'm like, who are my happiest friends? And my happy friends are like the ones that went into computers, engineering, trades. A lot of my trades friends seem real happy. I remember hearing something somewhere that there's a study that people that work outdoors are just genuinely happier. They like produce more serotonin or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Then I look at my most miserable friends, and it would be like
all nurses,
the nurses and the teachers.
The teachers are bad people.
They got it hard. They got it hard.
They do.
Yeah, so I say the nurses and the teachers are like they're my most miserable friends. Yeah.
So going back to nursing school, what was the one thing in nursing school that you wish you knew prior to going, like before, like one thing you wish you knew in nursing school or was taught in nursing school that you wish you were taught before you got into the real world of nursing? It's an on the spot question. I know.
Obviously, I wish I would have known about going to America and all that. But as far as like
and
things for the job, you mean like
yeah. But so on that point, you would think we would be educated about the states, right? You would think our school would bring American nurses to talk to us and let us know about the opportunities. We're right by Detroit.
Not really, when you think about it. No.
But a lot of Canadians work in Detroit.
I understand, but what I'm saying is the university is affiliated with the hospitals here. Why would you?
Right. Well, that's a business thing, right?
Which
I wish
absolutely.
it was. It shouldn't be a business thing.
No, it shouldn't, but it definitely is.
You're paying money, right?
Because you see the Windsor regional logo at U Windsor, and then you see the U Windsor logo at the hospital. So you know there's an affiliation.
Yeah, and it's like that in Kamloops too. We're trying to recruit the university kids. We have Thompson Rivers University, so we have a university in Kamloops with a nursing school. So it's it's a similar thing, but I don't know. I wish like it wouldn't have spent so much time. I feel like half of it was like the art of nursing, like kind of like I feel like we'd have 1 or 2 courses a semester on like learning about like actual like disease processes and like human physiology and all that, and then we'd have like another 2 courses that are like touchy-feely like kind of thing, which I feel like we would have been like more like
therapeutic touch.
And journaling and all this stuff and like all that stuff. And I wish it would be a little bit more scientific based, like more like actual disease processes and how to treat disease, like, but that's kind of like what med school is, right? And they try and differentiate themselves from med school so much, but I think I feel like it should be a little more like that, a little bit.
Yeah, but I felt like there were certain things that, like when we talk about like therapeutic anything in nursing, I remember doing that unit now. I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but I was dozing off because for us it was mostly like, how do you respond to this? And how do you talk to the patient like this? And I was like,
and it's like, I would never talk to like someone like this. When the patients, and then when you get a real patient and they're like you try this shit and they're like, fuck off. Like the only times I've asked a patient, like, what's your scale on a scale of 0 to 10? And they're like, I don't want to, like, what are you talking about?
I've asked the patient that and I'm like, I got to chart it, bro. Just tell me.
Or they'll say like 100, 1,000.
Yeah, because they're like, man, like, look at me, like I'm obviously in pain. It's like, what is this nonsense? I don't want to hear it. And if you're truly in 10 out of 10 pain, the last thing you want is some news coming in and being
100%.
What's your pain level?
100%.
Just give me that damn Percocet.
Yeah, that perk 30.
Perk 30.
God damn.
Yeah. So
okay.
So a lot of that stuff where it's like, I feel like it could have been a little more like disease processes and like how to treat, and like I feel like that would have been just in general.
I think for me, like in nursing school, I wish they educated us more on, I guess, the different specialties.
Yeah.
More so like for example, travel nursing. I didn't even know about travel nursing throughout our 4 years.
I don't think they want you to travel nursing.
They don't.
I think they're actively trying to keep you away from
exactly. They want to keep you in that bubble.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
For sure.
Well, they want you to be working a staff job and being in the union.
That's the thing.
Which is benefits to that, but it's like there's also a lot of drawbacks, right?
Of course.
So,
right.
Especially when you're first coming out of school, like a lot of people don't care about dental or your pension or all these other things. When you're 23 coming out of school, these are the last things you're thinking about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to make money. You're in debt. You want to buy a house. You want to do like all this stuff, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, most people are struggling when they come out of school, right?
That's exactly
so
right. They're trying to make some money.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to travel. They want to see things. Now, I know it's a lot easier to travel because back then you had to have like that 2 years of critical care.
Yeah,
you had to do all these things. Now, since the pandemic, it's not really
it's a bit different now, right? So,
but I don't know.
Yeah, I found my ICU education was a lot more to the point. Like, this is what you need to learn, and like they respected you. Like, they didn't treat you like a kid. Like, they didn't like. I remember when I was in second year, I had the one teacher. I was doing like 3 journals. I was doing the journal for that week, and then I was editing the journals from the previous 2 weeks because I had to make revisions. And I was doing one of my CPEs was like 70. It starts like what 5 to 10 pages of questions you got to answer.
Yeah.
And by the time it was done, it was like 70 something pages of
my God.
talking about like, how did I be environmentally friendly and ethically? What did I do to
How were you during the ethical dilemma situation?
Yeah, and like that whole thing, and it was like, and you would just be. I remember my one teacher specifically just got so uptight about all of that, and like just having that.
They
perfect.
were, bro.
And it wasn't like
They
you
really
didn't
were.
like. I didn't learn much about like I said, disease processes and human physiology and like how to treat a patient. It was just
even for us
paperwork.
back in the day, one of the big things that they focused on was like the CNO. What's it called? Like there was like 15 things that the CNO was looking for. And I'm like, I don't care about that now.
Yeah,
like nobody cares about these things. Like, no, for real though. You get in the hospital and then people want to tell you. So one episode we talk about how early are you for work? I get to work 5 minutes before I start.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to come sooner.
When I started, I was like half an hour. I'm going to read about my patients, but now I'm like, I'm not getting paid till 7:30. Like.
You want to?
So that's the thing. So like you said, one episode we were talking about that, right? And for me, my first job as a nurse was in Detroit in the ICU. Now that's another thing I wanted to ask you about the ICU. How long your training was? Mine was 6 months.
Yeah.
3 months of it, I was on a computer just learning about different shit, and then the other 3 months, I was with
and you got
a preceptor.
Like that you got paid for all that, or
yeah,
that was part of your job.
No issues, no complaints.
Okay,
it's getting paid for that, and then the last 3 months, I was with the actual preceptor or a nurse, and then he was showing me the ropes.
Yeah,
but going back to what he was saying, I would come to work like maybe 30 minutes, not even maybe. I would come to work 30 minutes early, read up on my patient, because deep down I was scared. Like, I want to make sure I'm on my game.
And that's when I started, even when I started nursing, I was like that, came in half an hour early, and then as I got experience in med surg, I was like coming later and later, closer to the start of your shift. And then it was like that in ICU when I started, even after 5 years of nursing experience, when I started in ICU, I was coming in half an hour early and reading about my patient and all that. And then you slowly like get in later and later.
Yeah.
You get more comfortable, and like, you get more experience with doing the things. But my education for it was 2 years. So I was working in med surg. It was like a 2-year like online part-time thing for I don't think I got paid for it though, but it
for
was,
the ICU? Like
not for the
training?
education. No, it was through BCIT, like British Columbia Institute of Technologies.
Like,
and
like your critical care training was?
yeah, I got like
I
a
see.
certificate for it.
Yeah,
but you had, but they have another option. I think it was, they used to call it Echo, where it was like, I forget exactly what it stands for, but that's like more similar to what you guys do. It's like,
Right.
I don't think you get a certificate. I think with the BCIT, you get a certificate that's more good anywhere, whereas the other one, like the in-house training, it's kind of similar to yours, where I think it's like 3 months of like full-time, you're getting paid for it, and you're doing like the coursework and then doing your placement in the ICU and all that. But I don't think you get like the same certificate, which most places in BC, I don't think they care about the certificate other than Vancouver. Like, I think if you wanted to go to Vancouver's ICU, they would want like the BCIT certificate. But I think if you just had experience, I think even if you had enough ICU experience and like the in-house training, I think even Vancouver would be like, okay, you're probably fine. Like, we'll make an exception kind of thing. But for the most part, I don't think anybody in BC cares if you actually have that certificate or anything. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any more questions?
No, that's
or
it for me, brother.
I guess we'll wrap it up right now. But I guess the last question I want to ask you is: so you've been in the game since 2016. Well, yeah, 2016 to now. What's one thing you would tell your younger self, your first year Jamie?
First year nursing school.
Yeah, first year nursing school, James. What would you tell him?
Don't go for that walk and break your arm.
Yeah.
Stay your ass at home.
Avoid the stairs.
Stay your ass at home.
Honestly, if I go back to high school, I wouldn't have done nursing school.
Really?
I don't think so. I probably
with everything we know,
probably would have done something a little. Well, Kamloops, the staffing levels are pretty bad. It's like, it's like unlimited overtime. Like I could like call the hospital and be like, I want to come in, not even for a full shift. I want to come in for 4 hours from like, I don't know, noon till 4, and just like, they'll find something for you to do. The staffing levels are really good. But the other side of that, obviously, when you go to work, you're getting like double vented, like you have 2 vented patients, and like you're getting less high workload, and like you sometimes we don't have a carrier or anything on, so like yeah, it can be a heavy workload in Kamloops, sure, which is great because of the overtime, but it's obviously makes for a hard job
for sure for the days that you do have to work.
Yeah, so I'd probably say go to a trader, go to engineering school or something. But if after I'd already become a nurse, would have said like obviously get your visa.
Yeah. For the States.
Get your
because the storms are brewing in 2019, 2020.
Yeah, make sure don't miss out on that travel.
The pandemic.
The pandemic for sure. Actually, but last thing. So out there, do y'all utilize sitters a lot?
What's that?
Sitters. So like they don't.
I don't think sitters are a Canadian thing, are they?
They are. We do. Yeah. We don't utilize them a lot. When you have the doctor will order a sitter, and you're lucky if you get that sitter. Like you get that sitter less than half the time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
most of the times the nurse has to like be the sitter.
It ends up not being fair for the patient, really, right? Because then they ended up having to get restrained or anything like that, or they'll hurt themselves because of the short staffing. So the staffing levels in Kamloops are really bad, which I think kind of boils down to like it's like a provincially negotiated contract, right? And in BC, I don't know how Windsor staffing levels are nowadays, but in BC, it's like, why would you go to, like, Kamloops isn't known to be like a pretty city compared to the rest of BC. Like you hear about BC, or you hear about Victoria and Vancouver and Squamish and Whistler and the Okanagan and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you're getting paid the same in Kamloops as you are in all those places, it's hard for us to attract the staff because.
Fair enough.
Because it's just so.
Why would you not get paid the same and be out in Vancouver or anywhere else?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the staffing levels are pretty bad in Kamloops. But I would say just kind of like make sure to focus on yourself, take some time, and get your specialty. Don't wait too long for your specialty and all that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, yeah.
Because the med surge is hard. Like that, like 5 years of med surge was hard for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That would be yeah.
But okay, we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you coming on to the
thank you so much for coming, man.
Educating us on BC and nursing out there.
And bears and shit.
If you guys are ever out there, let me know.
For sure,
More
for
than
sure.
welcome.
I ain't coming out to the mountain with you, big homie. I'm keeping my ass in the hotel.
Yeah. I'd love to see the city, but snowboarding and all that, rattlesnakes, nah, I'll pass on that.
I will do the longboarding though.
Yeah,
I'll keep my ass at 20 kilometers an hour, do
that's what it is. That's like longboarding. It doesn't have most people get on a longboard and they'll just cruise along the beach and have a good time. And then there's like a handful of us that do the downhill, and like when we go to like events and stuff, we'll have like a full leather suit and everything.
I've seen those.
There's one event in like it's called Maryhill. It's on the border between Oregon and Washington, and it's like. It's this hill. It's like, I don't know, you get up to like 60, 70 kilometers an hour. And it's like, there's like 300 downhill skateboarders there. Just like, riding. And there's like, you got luge, like, street luge and all that. And you get a few roller skaters and rollerbladers. So, that's really fun.
That's cool. I would rather do that than hang out with the black bears or the grizzly bears.
The black bears are fine. The black bears, they're cool to see.
I'm a black bear. They're not fine, bro.
They're cool to see.
Right?
I'm a gummy bear guy.
Yeah,
I'm a gummy bear. So.
You couldn't convince me, bro. I'm not on your last breath.
They're not as bad as you think. They're fine.
No. Oh, they're bad, bro. They're bad.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for coming, man. We really do appreciate it.
We've been looking for guests. So this is episode 12. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, tell another friend.
Tell a friend.
And yeah, follow us on all our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, you know the deal. But yeah, that's episode 12. Appreciate it. Peace.
Peace.